Between 2019 and 2022, the world suffered a pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic, which led to a dramatic loss of life worldwide and presented an unprecedented challenge to public health. So many people were affected and infected by the COVID-19 virus, and the healthcare providers were not an exception to this. Many nurses and doctors and other frontliners were infected by COVID-19 and they had to go for quarantine to prevent spreading COVID-19. So this meant that there was a critical shortage of staff in the hospitals, and because there were so many patients who were also sick, the staff in the hospitals were overwhelmed by the number of patients in the hospital due to COVID-19. So the government had to come up with a strategy to tackle the critical shortage of staff in the hospitals. So the strategy has been beneficial to hospitals, care homes, or the healthcare sector, as well as to Tier 2 and Tier 4 visa holders, because the government had to relax some laws with regards to the number of hours that the Tier 2 and Tier 4 visa holders can take up with the second employer. So it seems there's going to be a change in the number of hours that each individual can take with the second employer if you're on a Tier 2 or Tier 4 visa. And this is what I'm going to be talking about in today's video. If you're new to my channel, my name is Pauline Popomoyo, and this is the channel where we keep things real. Without wasting any of your time, let's get into it. So guys, Tier 4 visa holders are international students, and Tier 2 visa holders, we've got examples like the nurses, doctors, pharmacists, physicians, just to mention a few. So if you are a Tier 2 visa holder, other than working for your employer, you are permitted to take on additional work. You can do additional paid work on this visa as long as you will still be doing the job you are being sponsored for. You can also do unpaid voluntary work. So this means if you come and work as a nurse in UK or a healthcare assistant or a doctor, you are permitted to take a second job as long as you take a second job within the same role that you are sponsored for. So if you're a healthcare assistant, you take a second job as a healthcare assistant. You cannot be a healthcare assistant then take up a job as a nurse. According to the government of UK, you can work up to 20 hours a week in a job that's either in the same occupation code and at the same level of your main job, or in a shortage occupation. So this is where the Tier 4 visa holders come in. A lot of students have been taking up second employment as healthcare assistants because the healthcare assistants are in the shortage occupation list. So if you look at the government website, they state that due to coronavirus, there is currently no limit on the number of hours you can work or volunteer if you have a second job as an NHS doctor, nurse, or paramedic. So this means that this rule was relaxed. So people have been working more than 20 hours, and this has been beneficial to most people because the economic system or the cost of living in UK has become so high. So this has been beneficial to people because it meant that they can take up additional employment. So people have been working with agencies, and agencies pay a good amount of money. For example, you can be paid £30 an hour as opposed to £15 an hour. And this has also benefited the NHS, the care homes, and other healthcare sectors to tackle the critical shortage of staff. However, there is some sad news. So this is a message which has been received by some NHS staff, and it states that NHS professionals have received an update from the Home Office regarding unrestricted work hours. If you are working for the NHS, the concessions detailed in the If you are working for the NHS section will expire on 4 October 2022, which means people can no longer take additional hours starting from the 4th of October going forward. And people have been receiving messages from their agencies, for example. So, for example, this agency is addressing to Tier 4 and skilled workers or Tier 2 visa holders. They say action to take. Please make sure that your Tier 2 and Tier 4 healthcare professionals are not booked for more than 20 hours in a 7-day period of locum work after September 2022. This includes and currently pending long-term contracts and new bookings. So guys, many agencies have sent the agency workers that message stating that they can no longer work more than 20 hours a week. Per given year, you're supposed to work at least 40 hours with a second employer. So guys, this is the sad news that I wanted to share with you. To me, it's sad news because the cost of living is too high and people were benefiting from the extra cash that they were getting from agency work. At the same time, care homes and hospitals were also benefiting because it's in everyday papers that the UK is experiencing a critical shortage of healthcare professionals with at least 40,000 vacancies for nurses. So in my opinion, this should not come to an end, and we are getting into winter and the COVID cases have started rising. We do not know what this winter holds for us, but this is what I wanted to share with you, that be mindful if you are taking on additional hours. Make sure that you take at least 20 hours with the second employer, because if you continue to take more than 20 hours, it may affect you when you're now applying for indefinite leave to remain. And please take note, this has not been updated in the government website. I'm not sure whether it's yet to be updated, but it has not been updated. But the agencies have sent their staff, and the NHS has also sent their staff to indicate that they can no longer take more than 20 hours per given week. So this is all that I wanted to share with you guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you in my next video. Bye.